there was raising heat there and the house was on top. How do you attribute that?
It's hard to say. There was some certainly, yeah, probably there certainly was some spot fires going on around that house, which was much up later in the day.
Yeah.
These trees went down, obviously. We had a marquee just here, which was like a summer house.
Okay.
But on the day, this is a firefighting hose here. We had 20,000 gallons of water, so we had loads of water.
Oh my goodness.
So I was out here.
That's amazing.
That's just garden.
Yeah. So that got really warm.
Yeah, well, that hillside there,
Yeah.
there was some smoke appeared at the top of that hill, and so I knew that the fire had come this far.
Yeah.
I didn't actually expect it to come down this hill with any particular velocity, but it didn't. What happened was that an enormous amount of unburnt gases were cooked. There's a vast eucalypt forest that runs way back over behind that hill, and of pine forests. And so when you get a very hot fire, there's insufficient oxygen to burn all the fuel. So that means that volatile gases are driven off, so it becomes a gas producing situation. And that gas is highly explosive. It's like any other form of gas. It's in fact, it is exactly the same as natural gas, because it comes from the same source, except that natural gas was laid down in a different way. So I was here prepared, and Tammy was in the house with the 5 kids, and we knew it was a high fire danger day, and we were prepared we'd filled the gutters with water, we'd done all the sensible things you normally do in order to fight a bushfire, or resist a bushfire. And then, if you see those white railings up there, there was a house there, and we started to see some flames in the trees over there, and the next thing, across the front here, came some columns of fire that were as high as the trees.
Oh my word.
And the ground wasn't burning, the trees weren't burning, there was fire in the air, because it was the gas.
The gas, yeah.
And,
and
with 100-kilometre wind coming in this direction, our marquee was kind of almost taking off. And at that moment, 3 fire trucks turned up here, and I thought, oh, fantastic, there's some help.
Yeah.
And I'd already sent Tammy down. The jetty's sort of in that direction, about 400 metres.
Oh, 400 metres, that's a long walk.
Yeah, so it's a reasonable distance.
Yeah.
But, as soon as we saw some flames over there, I said to Tammy, go. So she went with the kids down through the bush.
So she carried one or two of them?
Carried one, and the other 4 ran.
Yeah.
And but they're lovely, well-behaved children. They're homeschooled and beautifully disciplined, so you only have to tell them once, and they just do as they're told, which is lovely. Makes life very easy. No arguing, no kind of why are we doing this, or they just do it. And when this column, it was like a whirlwind, a tornado of fire. It was a cone that just came past here, and by that time I had some firemen standing beside me, and we just ran. We just ran for the shelter of the back of the house, and a gas ball surrounded the house, and there were flames coming around the house, just in the air. So at that point I said to the fireman, I've got to go, so to be with Tammy and the kids. So I ran down through that direction, but unbeknownst to me, there was already a fire coming up over the hill.
Oh my word.
So it was coming from 2 directions.
So what did you do?
I just lost visibility because it was so dense, the smoke. And then I kept running, because I knew if I kept running downhill, I'd be okay. Meanwhile, Tammy was down at the jetty, and the kids were praying and conscious that there was now severe danger, because the firemen thought here, one of the firemen actually broke down because he was convinced I would have died. And Tammy said to the kids, we need to pray, Papa's in danger. So right down to the 4-year-old, they all prayed, and then the 6-year-old said, there's Papa, and I came through the smoke and fire. And then we had to sort of spend 2.5 hours in the water.
What a moment that must have been when they saw you. Oh,
yeah, good.
Oh my word. Gee, it's certainly an emotional moment. So how long was it between the time that you reunited with them?
Not that long.
To the time that Bonnie found out the kids and you were all right?
Look, it's really hard.
For quite a while.
Yeah, it's really hard to say because
you don't really know.
Time kind of no. Look, I honestly don't know. We were receiving. It was by the time this whole hillside had erupted in flame, it was patently obvious to everybody that Denali was in big trouble because the fire just came over the hill as a storm and hit the whole of Denali. And I guess we were receiving texts and phone calls on Tammy's phone, and Tammy was responding saying we're okay, we're in the water, we've evacuated. And my phone got a few texts too, but I think it drowned. So there was one stage where we had to move deeper fairly quickly, and I sort of forgot my phone, and it was in my top pocket, so it got drowned.
Oh my word!
There's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
There's
and you had to make sure the kids kept their head above water because 3 of them couldn't swim, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, thank God you're all.
That's right.
God kept you safe.
Yeah.
Because you actually put yourself in
in
a position of danger, staying here with a fire.
Well, fine.
Thanks a lot.
I'll catch you in the morning. Yeah, bring some other gear down.
Thank you.
So we'll take your trail back up in the morning.
Yeah, okay. Are you going to bring the joiners at that time?
Yeah, got some joiners. We wanted a couple of screws, a few bits and pieces during tomorrow.
Okay, as long as you get the joiners, that'll be good.
Yeah. So I'll go to the office first thing. Well,
See you then.
see you, Tim.
See you, Cam.
Oh wow! So it's I spoke for quite a while with Bonnie and David. It's down at the centre, the recovery centre.